Hello everyone and welcome back to Three-Legged Dog Yoga. As always, I am Lindsay, this is Chewy, and today's class is all for the upper body, so lots of arms, shoulders, that sort of stuff. It's not crazy long, but it's definitely fiery. Might not entirely be suitable for beginners, but it's always fun to try. No props necessary or anything like that, so without further ado, let's get started. Let's begin today at the top of the mat, standing in Tadasana. Feet are pressed firmly into the floor, knees are slightly bent, and we're standing nice and tall, shoulders back. Crown of the head stays lifted and chin stays tucked. Maybe taking a moment to close the eyes here. And just starting to move inwards to the breath. Starting to slow down the breathing, elongating the inhales and the exhales. And staying with this breath throughout our practice today. Softly opening the eyes if they were closed. Let's inhale, arms come up. Exhale, fold forward. Nice deep bend in the knees to start. Inhale, halfway lift, look up. And exhale, plant the hands, step back. And you can either come down through knees or come down through chaturanga, cobra or up dog. And send the hips back for downward facing dog. Taking a moment to pedal out your dog if you'd like. Just finding any movements you might want in this first down dog of the day. Keeping those fingertips pressing into the floor, reaching those shoulders away. And then eventually finding stillness in your downward facing dog and staying here for another couple of breaths. Big, deep breaths, getting it all the way to the belly. And on your next inhale, gaze to the top of the hands, step or hop up, halfway lift. And exhale, fold forward. Inhale, come all the way up. Exhale, hands through heart center. And again, inhale, arms up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, step or jump back. Come down either through the knees or through chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. And exhale, downward facing dog. We're here for 5 breaths. Really pressing the top of those thighs up towards the back wall, stretching out those hamstrings. And as we do so, maybe our heels reach just a little bit further towards the floor. Not concerned if they reach. Just the direction that they're going in. And then the last breath. Gaze to the hands. Inhale, step or hop up, halfway lift. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, halfway. Inhale, come all the way up. Exhale, hands through heart center. And again, inhale, arms up, look up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, plant the hands, step back. This time let's come down through chaturanga if you weren't already. Upward facing dog. And send the hips up for downward facing dog. Really pressing through each of those fingertips, keeping a little space underneath the hands. Keeping those arms nice and strong as we warm up here. And keeping that breath nice and big and bright. And last breath. And on the inhale, step to the top of your mat. Inhale, look up. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, come all the way up. And exhale, hands through heart center. This time we're going to add on. So let's inhale the arms up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, plant the hands, step back, come through your chaturanga to upward facing dog. And then we'll meet in downward facing dog. So here I'll give you a few options. You can either come all the way down to dolphin, bringing the forearms to the floor. Or if you want to add a little bit more challenge, press through those hands, raise the elbows about halfway for turbo dog. If you're in turbo dog, we're squeezing those arms together. Same with if you are in dolphin. Maybe bending through those knees, walking the feet up just a little bit if you're in the dolphin pose. And then challenge yourself, try to press through those hands both at once. And then we'll inhale, step to the top of our mat. Halfway lift, look up. And exhale, sigh it out and fold. Inhale, come all the way up. And exhale, hands through heart center. Awesome. Step back with the right foot. Set up with our warrior 1 feet. And then we'll inhale the arms up. Nice and high, hands touch. Shoulders are reaching away from the ears. And we'll breathe. Reaching that right hip forward. Left thigh pulls back. And then we inhale, keep the hands as they are, and we're just gonna pivot on our feet. So switching, facing the back of our mat now, bending through that right knee, keeping those arms reaching and pressing together. Feeling that warmth in the upper body. One more breath here. Left hip is pressing forward. Right hip pulling back. And then let's inhale those arms out nice and wide. Shuffle the feet, come into your warrior 2 stance. Check in with that front knee and reach out with that front arm. Gaze, drishti, comes over that front middle finger. If you're not feeling the burn in the arms, you are stronger than I am. And then on the inhale, let's just bring the arms together, pivot on the feet, and then exhale. One nice fluid motion. Just taking a tiny break there with the arms, coming into warrior 2 on the opposite side. One more big deep breath here. And then on the exhale, let's cartwheel the arms, step it back, and take a vinyasa. Coming down through chaturanga, or all the way to the belly, up dog or cobra. And we'll meet in downward facing dog here. Let's roll forward onto the knees, send the hips back, and just take a moment in child's pose. Catching the breath, relaxing the arms. And just sinking the belly down. Awesome, and we'll get moving again. So press the hips back up to downward facing dog. All right, let's have some fun. So let's come forward to plank. We'll come down onto the forearms. We're gonna hold here for 4 breaths. Really squeezing through that belly. Reaching through the crown of the head. And then our next inhale, let's roll onto that right arm, trying to keep the shoulders stacked over the elbow. And we'll reach that left arm up to the sky. Feet stay stacked. Hips are pressing up towards the ceiling. Keeping that shoulder nice and strong. We don't want to collapse anywhere into the left or the right shoulder. And then on our exhale, let's place that left hand down and we'll roll all the way over. Checking in with the feet, making sure that our roll keeps them in one line with the left arm. And then reaching that right arm up to the sky. Again, keeping those hips up nice and high. One more big deep breath here. And then exhale, roll it all the way back. Come back up through plank. Send the hips back for downward facing dog. If you'd like to take a child's pose, you're welcome to. If not, stay in your downward facing dog. Just taking a moment, catching the breath, whether you're in child's pose or downward facing dog. And if you're in child's pose, we'll meet back up in downward facing dog. Wait for the inhale, we'll roll forward again. This time staying up high in your plank, pressing those shoulders up towards the ceiling. Staying strong through those legs. And then on the inhale, let's roll onto that right arm. Same thing, side plank on the opposite side, except for all the way up this time. Feet stay stacked, hips are shooting up towards the ceiling. Feeling into those shakes and trusting in the process. Exhale, switch sides, roll onto the left. Try and keep your balance here. Easier said than done, but everything comes with practice. And exhale, roll back through plank. And send the hips back up to downward facing dog. And we'll all meet in child's pose. Just taking one nice deep breath here. Relaxing the arms for a moment. And then we'll just start walking the fingers forward. Just feeling that stretch into those shoulder blades. Essentially, we're reaching the sit bones and the fingertips away from each other here, as if people were pulling on either end of us. Elbows might come off of the mat. And then we'll walk our fingers back, bring the hands, palms touch, and we'll bend at the elbows. Hands can always stay on the floor, but we're trying to bring a stretch into the triceps. So the more you bend into those elbows, the bigger that stretch gets. And then you can always walk the elbows forward, kind of like we just did with the fingers. And just staying and breathing here for a few breaths. Let's exhale, release the hands. We'll just roll up onto our sit bones and we're just gonna scooch over, coming on to our seats. And then we'll just scooch up on our mats. Let's extend both of the legs here. Just taking a moment in staff pose and Dandasana, and then we'll walk our hands behind us. So I like to say this is a choose your own adventure because this might be enough for some to just walk the hands a little bit back. You can always bend into the elbows here. See, maybe walk the hands back a little bit further, bend into the elbows, or alternatively, you can come down to the forearms, bringing a bit more of a relaxing stretch into the front of the shoulders here. If you are on the forearms, just make sure we're not sinking through that back. We're keeping the chest pressing up. So we're keeping it nice engaged. We're staying nice and engaged in that front while bringing a stretch to our shoulders, just keeping it nice and safe. To wherever you are, just relaxing, starting to slow down the breath. We did a lot of fiery stuff pretty quickly with the arms, so just taking an extra few breaths here. And then we'll just press through the hands, come back up through seated. You can stay facing the top of your mat here. I'm just gonna switch this way so you can see better. So let's inhale that right arm up. A few options here. So either you bend the elbow and then the left hand comes to the elbow. If this is enough, stay here. Or if you can come into the full expression, let's bring the back of the left hand to the top of the back, and then we'll clasp our hands together. So reaching that right shoulder up and away, and that left shoulder comes to tuck in behind the back. If you have a strap or anything when you're practicing this is always nice to do to start with a strap. I know I didn't cue any today, but for future reference. And then we'll exhale, release that side, shake out the arms, and we'll switch sides. So big inhale with that left arm. Again, if you want to just bend into that arm, right arm comes to the elbow. If that's enough, stay there. If not, we'll bring the back of the right hand up towards the middle top of the back and clasp those hands together. Sitting up nice and tall with that upper body, keeping that core engaged and lifting us. We don't have to be flexing the muscles to be engaged. We just have to be using the muscles. Crown of the head stays nice and lifted. And then release the hands, give them another shake. Let's inhale our arms out nice and wide. Exhale, left arm over right. Reach back for those shoulder blades. And then we'll just round that whole upper back. Dropping the head, dropping the neck. And just relaxing here, giving a nice stretch to that upper back, to those shoulder blades. Reaching the shoulder blades apart. And then inhale, come back through center, open those arms out nice and wide again. Exhale, whichever arm was on top is on the bottom. And then same thing, reach for those shoulder blades and then drop the arms, round out the upper back. Inhale, come back up through center. Let's just give those arms a little shake. And that is all for our practice today. I hope your arms feel nice and strong. Hopefully you're not too sore tomorrow, and we'll see you next time. Thanks so much.